Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now I got a news story for you, and it's from The Intercept. It's about how the war on drugs is still targeting people of color. Okay, and I need your help because I need you to go to my GoFundMe campaign. Scratch that. I need you to go to my PayPal link. I'll put a link in the description box below, so donate to my PayPal so I can do the show full-time instead of just part-time. And what's really disappointing about this, how it's still targeting black people and brown people, is that more states have been legalizing marijuana for recreational use and especially for medical use. But let's go on with what Intercept talks about. The huge failure we know as the war on drugs is back in full force under the Trump administration, thanks in no small part to Attorney General Jeff Sessions' retrograde tough-on-crime approach to drugs. It's not hard to understand why someone like Sessions with the history of racism would love the war on drugs. In reality, it was always a war on a very particular set of people, and you can probably guess who those people are. And yet, despite Sessions' best efforts, there's been a lot of progress on legalizing marijuana. Opinions are changing, and in a lot of places, so are laws. At the intersection of these pushes to legalize weed and the so-called war on drugs, there are a bevy of major scandals unfolding, all of which are ravaging communities of color. Here's the thing about these scandals. They simply can't be blamed on President Donald Trump and his team. Instead, they're deeply rooted in our partisan type of anti-blackness. But 8 states and Washington, D.C. have now legalized recreational marijuana. Another 14 states have decriminalized recreational marijuana use. Meaning you still can't legally buy weed, but if you're caught with very small portions of it, you're supposed to either get a pass or a citation. So they should really just give them a pass. And really decriminalize it and not even fine people for having marijuana. Because it's not a criminal act, don't give them a fine. 29 states have now legalized varying forms of medical marijuana. Alright, here we go. In 2016, more people were arrested for simple marijuana possession in the United States than all violent crimes combined. More than 1% is arrested every minute for marijuana possession in this country. An astounding 574,641 people were arrested for simple marijuana possession in the U.S. in 2016. That's 89% of all marijuana-related arrests. These aren't dealers, distributors, or kingpins. They're just everyday people with a little bit of weed. I'll skip a little bit, and it goes about how many lives are ruined as a result of getting arrested for weed. How many people lost their jobs, their right to vote? How many of those people lost their college financial aid? How many were jailed or sent to prison? How many of those people were moms or dads that are ripped away from their families? Because there's a human cost to jailing and arresting a shitload of people for minor offenses. And of course, it's not paid out for the people at all. It's only paid out or been worth it for the big pharmaceutical companies and maybe big alcohol, and that's about it. What we do know is that they were black, despite a countless studies showing that African Americans and white people use marijuana at almost the exact same rate. African Americans are 375% more likely to be arrested for it. In fact, if as few people of color are incarcerated as white people, Americans' prison population will plummet by 40%. So this disparity is not accidental, and that's why it happens from coast to coast. America's criminal justice policies and their selective racial enforcement are deeply rooted in racism and systemic white supremacy. This conclusion, thanks to Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, and Ava DuVernay's documentary, 13th, is more widely accepted than it's ever been, but the scandal continues, and it isn't a partisan one. The Intercept's article goes along more, but I'm going to just show you a little bit about other articles that say the same thing. Or not quite the same thing, but very similar information. Because here's one from PennLive.com. Because this is specifically for the arrest for marijuana possession in Pennsylvania. Here we go. Also right here. We're seeing now that 59% of Pennsylvanians support legalization. Only 31% oppose. And that's a quote right there. I'll go down a little bit. In summary, the authors of the report studied marijuana offenses in Pennsylvania from 2010 to 2016. So you can't get fucking mad at President Donald Trump for this shit, because Barack Obama didn't really do anything to get rid of the white supremacy in our criminal justice system. Okay, the study shows that possession arrests of adults increased 33% at that time. Black people were 8 times more likely than white people to be arrested, despite similar usage rates. The state police total arrests per year more than doubled from 2,221 to 4,612 in that 7-year period. The cost of Pennsylvania tax force has been more than $225 million in that time. Well, here's a quote: "Legalization is the only solution to this problem," Hoover said. Philadelphia engaged in a decriminalization effort in the last 3 years, said Matt Stroud of the ACLU. The data there shows a remarkable decline in marijuana-related arrests there, about 88%. Here you go. Cannabis consumer advocate Chris Goldstein said since Philadelphia's decriminalization, there have been no marijuana possession arrests of the more than 300,000 students on the city's college campuses, as opposed to Penn State, where 250 students are arrested per year for marijuana possession. And unlike Philadelphia, the other 66 counties in Pennsylvania show a remarkable increase in arrests, Stroud added. Yeah, this article goes on a little more, but I'm going to go to another one too. This is from WTVR.com. This is a local CBS news station. I'll skip around a little bit. Okay. In Hanover County, has about 88,000 white residents, and 246 whites are arrested there for marijuana possession, and 96,000 African Americans live in Hanover County. 171 black people were arrested for marijuana possession. So the rates for white people was 280 arrests for every 100,000 people, and the 171 black people, and then the rate is 1,779 black arrests for every 100,000 black residents. So in this county, African Americans are more than 6 times as likely as whites to be arrested for possessing marijuana in Hanover County. I'll skip a little bit. Alright, it found that racial disparity in marijuana arrests has increased over the years. In 2010, the arrest rate for black people was 2.9 times the arrest for white people. In 2016, blacks were 3.2 times as likely as whites to be arrested on marijuana charges. So I think the people, you and me, we need to really pressure our local police enforcement and the prosecutors. And really, we need to pressure them to quit arresting people over marijuana possession, because time and time again, all these studies have just continually showing is that they're going after black people for marijuana and not white people. So we need to say it's time to stop criminalizing black people a lot more than you are criminalizing white people for the same shit. And then maybe we need to start filing lawsuits about how our criminal justice system is punishing black people with a lot more than white people, which is unconstitutional, and how we really need to get rid of the leadership in the criminal justice system in those local areas to say, hey, you're discriminating against black people because of these rates. Your police force is arresting way more black people over marijuana use, so on and so forth. So we really need to look out for the people, especially the black people, because just our society's been really structured around fucking over black people and brown people throughout history. So it's time to really fix that.